The story of Krishna, Krishna Avatar, the enchanting avatar of Vishnu. One of the very basic and important aspects of Hinduism is the concept of avatar. It is the fundamental belief in Hinduism that God descends to earth from time to take birth as human or other forms. It happens whenever good and pious people suffer and evil ones have an upper hand. God protects the good, destroy the evil, and restore dharma righteousness. Such a divine being/person is known as an avatar, the greatness of Krishna. The avatar of Krishna is said to have taken place in Dwapara Yuga, a time period dating back to thousands of years. Very elaborate holy mythologies, Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, and Mahabharata, are available in Hindu scripture, which contain the wonderful life history and details of the divine play enacted by Lord Krishna. Plenty of folklores and wonderful literary works too are available practically in all languages of India, eulogizing Lord Krishna's divine play, particularly his enthralling childhood pranks. The avatar of Krishna is considered a Purnavatar, an avatar in which godly qualities were found manifested in full. Lord Krishna is perhaps the most widely loved, adored, and worshipped avatar by Vaishnavates, devotees of Vishnu, across the length and breadth of India. In fact, worship of Krishna has even transcended the boundaries of India. Considering the global appeal of the ISKCON movement, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, spearheaded by Swami Prabhupada, it has happened because he is personification of love. Krishna is sweetness personified. His attraction to devotees is magnetic. He is ever joyful. He is the preacher of karma yoga, the path for unification with God through work without attachment, and he is a perfect karma yogi himself, performing work ceaselessly all through his life with joyous detachment and abandonment, seeking no fruits of his actions for himself. It is with this practical authority that he delivered discourse to his disciple and close friend Arjuna on the eve of a grand Mahabharata war. Is Bhagavad Gita, one of the greatest scriptures of Hinduism. It is a philosophical treasure very widely read and adored by people across the world, cutting across religious barriers. Unlike Rama, a greatly revered avatar of the previous yuga, Krishna was fully conscious of his divinity, and he never tried to hide his divine prowess. At every right and opportune occasion, Krishna demonstrated his divinely attributes and superhuman powers. He utilized them to humble his opponents, destroy the evildoers, and to instantly come to the rescue of his devotees in distress. He was all at once the player by the rules and also the lord of the rules, and by virtue of this lordship, a breaker of the rules too, for the goodness of the world. The divine play of Krishna is something that cannot be written across a few pages. It is extremely difficult to comprehend Krishna by a mere intellectual study of his life, or through analysis of his speeches and actions. Krishna is more amenable for comprehension to those who love and surrender to him, rather than to those who analyze him. Krishna's birth. Let us now see very briefly the life history of Lord Krishna in Dwapara Yuga. The demon-like King Kamsa ruled the kingdom of Masura, that belonged to the Yadava clan, by overthrowing his father and the king Ugrasena. He became too powerful, and people on earth as well as devas, the celestial beings, suffered immeasurably under his tyrannical rule. Moved by the earnest prayers of the sufferers, Lord Vishnu decided to take birth in human form and annihilate the evil forces headed by Kamsa. Another reason for the descent of God as avatar was the problem of excessive population at that period, particularly accentuated by higher proportions of the wicked and evil ones over the righteous ones, and the Mother Earth suffered on account of it. God came to earth as Lord Krishna, and one of his roles was to initiate large-scale destruction of human race, in order to bring a manageable balance to the earthly resources and establish dharma. The king Kamsa was forewarned by his astrologers that his death would be caused by the eighth son, who would be born to his cousin Devaki. To prevent such a happening, Kamsa arrested Devaki and her husband Vasudeva and incarcerated them in his prison. As and when a child was born to the couple, he would go to the jail and kill the child then and there. When the eighth child was born, it was Lord Krishna, by a dramatic divine play. At the midnight when the birth took place, the child was miraculously and secretively transported to Gokula, a community of cowherds belonging to Yadava clan at the banks of river Yamuna, to become the foster son of Mother Yasoda and King Nanda. A female child born to them, Maya, at the same time was transported back to the prisons. It was Vasudev, Krishna's father, who did the exchange of the babies at the behest of a divine command. All these took place without the knowledge of Devaki and Yasoda. When Kamsa came to know of the birth of the eighth child, he came to the prison as usual, and as he lifted the child to kill it, the girl child Maya got freed from his clutches and flew away laughing aloud that the king was cheated squarely, and the child meant to kill him was safe and alive elsewhere. Kamsa was shell-shocked. The child Krishna brought up at Gokula. The baby Lord Krishna grew up joyfully in the company of cow herds at Gokula. He was dark-skinned and was the most beautiful and charming boy of the community. Whoever came across him fell in instant love with him. He was full of childhood pranks. He loved to steal butter and eat it in the company of fellow cowherd boys. He became the Prince Charming for all the young girls and women folk gopis of the community. In the meanwhile, Kamsa sent several powerful demons in varying disguises to search for, locate, and kill the boy who escaped from the prison. Little Krishna encountered all of them: Putana, Sakatasura, Bakasura, Trinavarta, Vatsasura, Agasura, etc., and killed them all as a matter of child play. Further, little Krishna killed a very ferocious and poisonous snake Kalia who lived in the river Yamuna. He extracted the snake from the river and danced at his hood to the awe of one and all. When the celestial Lord Indra created heavy rains at Gokula, because a worship due to him was denied at the behest of Krishna, Krishna protected the entire community by lifting up the hill Govardhan by holding it like an umbrella at his little finger. Krishna and gopis. Right from his boyhood, Krishna started playing flute. His music was extremely captivating. Not only human beings, but animals too were attracted by his flute. When Krishna was in his early teens, his attraction to the womenfolk of Gokula gopis was divine. Their love towards Krishna was so intense that they even ignored their duty and allegiance to their husbands and went madly behind Krishna. Hindu spiritual masters interpret that this love of gopis towards Krishna was never carnal, but it was the spiritual longing of the individual souls, Jivatmas, towards the divine soul, Paramatma. Krishna and Radha. It was during this phase that Radha, or Radhika of Brindavan, developed a deep-rooted love for Krishna. The divine love between Radha and Krishna, which was never consummated in a marriage, though not found mentioned in Srimad Bhagavata, is dealt with elaborately in Brahma Vaivartha Purana and several folklore and Sanskrit literary works. Radha-Krishna love has always been a source of inspiration for the bhakti movement of Vaishnavates, worshippers of Vishnu, of Eastern India, as this love symbolically represents the longing for yoga, union of the individual soul with the Supreme Soul. According to Brahma Vaivartha Purana, Krishna is considered the Paramatma, Chidatma, and Radha his Chit Sakthi. He is the creator, sustainer, destructor of the universe, and he is verily the Brahman, ultimate God. He is not considered as an avatar of Vishnu unlike other Purnas. Krishna returns to Mathura. When Krishna became a matured boy, it was time for him to go to Mathura and take the bull by its horns, to face his uncle Kamsa and destroy him for all his vengeful deeds. Krishna overcame several obstacles at Mathura and finally killed his uncle in a ferocious combat. He released his parents from the jail and rethroned Ugrasena as the king. Over a period of time, he got married to Bhama and Rukmini. The story goes that Krishna later got married to 6 more women. At later period of his story, he killed a demon king by name Bhamasura, and he had to marry 14000 women who were earlier abducted by the demon king. This he did at the behest of the women, who would otherwise lose their honor in society for having been in the custody of the demon king. The story goes that Krishna used his divine Maya to be simultaneously present with all his wives in their respective homes and lead happy life with all of them. Krishna and the Pandavas in the meanwhile. His maternal cousins, the Pandavas, 5 sons of the kind Pandu headed by Yudhishthira of the Kuru clan at the kingdom of Hastinapur, were facing lots of difficulty in claiming their rightful share to their kingdom. It was due to certain acts of omissions and commissions done by themselves, as well as due to the vengeful and treacherous acts of their unrighteous cousins, the Kauravas headed by Duryodhan, who too claimed the throne of Hastinapur, that the peace-loving Pandavas were facing insurmountable difficulties in life. Krishna developed a bosom friendship with Arjuna, the most powerful archer and the younger brother of Yudhishthira. Whenever they found time, they spent time together and enjoyed the friendly company of each other. Arjuna fell in love with Krishna's sister Subhadra, and Krishna arranged their marriage secretively against stiff resistance from his clan. The Pandavas were fairly knowledgeable of the divinely nature of Krishna. The Pandavas surrendered to Krishna and sought his help and guidance in overcoming their problems. Krishna intervened frequently in the lives of Pandavas to protect them from innumerable personal problems. He also used his diplomatic skills and tried his best to bring in a truce between the Pandavas and Kauravas. But Kauravas had neither respect for Dharma nor for Krishna's counseling. The Kurukshetra War and the birth of Bhagavad Gita. Finally, a grand war erupted between Pandavas and Kauravas. Numerous kings of the entire subcontinent virtually sidelined and supported either Pandavas or Kauravas according to their relationships and temperament, and took part in the great Mahabharata war. Dharma was obviously on the side of Pandavas. Krishna, as the king of Mathura and a blood relative of both Pandavas and Kauravas, offered his entire army to take part in the war on one side, and he himself without taking up arms on the other side. He left the choice to Arjuna of the Pandavas and Duryodhana of Kauravas to choose anyone between the two, while Arjuna instantly and gladly opted to have Krishna on their side as a non-fighting companion. Duryodhana was too happy to accept the huge and powerful army of Krishna. Krishna offered his services to be the charioteer of Arjuna during the war. Just before the beginning of the war at Kurukshetra, Arjuna became jittery. He felt it was futile to wage war against his own blood relations and other seniors, respectable elders and teachers and masters in the opposite camp. It was at this juncture that Lord Krishna gave one of the greatest sermons to Arjuna. His utterances form the holy scripture Bhagavad Gita. In this great spiritual discourse, Lord Krishna predominantly teaches karma yoga, the path of attaining the greatest goal of life, through selfless action by surrendering all the fruits of actions at the feet of Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, he also elaborates the other spiritual paths, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Krishna, as part of his effort to teach Arjuna during his discourse, gave a divine vision to Arjuna and revealed his Vishwarupa, his cosmic form that transcended the creation, births, deaths, and time, space, and causation, and Arjuna was overwhelmed with awe to see this form of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna acted as a charioteer to Arjuna and saved his life under many tricky situations. In a couple of occasions, Krishna even used dubious means that his enemies accused him as acts of adharma in order to tilt victory in favor of the righteous Pandavas. The war ended with the annihilation of Kauravas, and the rule of the Pandavas was established. Krishna, the overseer of massive destruction. The Kurukshetra war, though ended as a victory to Pandavas, in fact turned to be a divine act supervised by Krishna, without his direct participation, to result in the destruction of millions and millions of soldiers and warriors, thousands of kings, people of ruling class, and countless numbers of horses and elephants. Despite the win, Pandavas too were virtually emotionally wrecked, as practically all their offspring, 5 children born to their wife Draupadi, and several other children born to them from other wedlock got annihilated. Arjuna's brave young son and a wonderful archer Abhimanyu, born to Arjuna Subhedra too, got killed in the war. Lord Krishna ensured that the progeny of Pandava's clan was not cut, by using his divine power to protect a fetus in the womb of Arjuna's daughter-in-law Uttara, wife of Abhimanyu. Later in history, her son Parikshit became the king. Krishna and Dwaraka, at his own kingdom at Mathura ruled by Ugrasena. Krishna had to face a very tough war against Jarasandha, the father-in-law of the slain King Kamsa. The war was waged 18 times by the extremely powerful king. Jarasandha and Krishna had to play hide and seek with the king. After the last attack, Krishna convinced King Ugrasena and his father, Crown Prince Vasudeva, to rescind the land and establish a new kingdom at Dwaraka. Due to strategic reasons, all the Yadava subjects were shifted to Dwaraka, and Krishna lived and ruled there for about 38 years. Krishna utilized the services of Bhimasena, one of the Pandavas, who was extremely strong and powerful, to finally kill Jarasandha. The end of Krishna advanced in age. The Yadava clan grew too arrogant, morally weak, and got in the grip of vices. By an act of mischief, Krishna's descendants and their clan got a curse from sages that paved for their annihilation. Lots of bickering happened between the members of families and the ruling class, and they grew out of control of Krishna's divine and moral influence. Time soon came when they were destined to get wiped out entirely on account of a verbal duel that started between 2 drunken relatives of Krishna. It grew into a bloody fight, and Krishna took up the role of a destroyer now, and he personally killed many Yadavas using pestles that grew out of wild grass near seashore. Krishna knew that it was time to draw curtains to his divine plays in his present avatar. He retired to forest and was engaged in deep meditation. He was finally slain by an arrow which was mistakenly aimed at his foot by a hunter who thought it was a deer.